Welcome, everybody. Back from our 10-minute lunch. Well, at least you got your lunch. And so now we're in our lunch session for today's symposium. And we have two outstanding speakers for our lunch break. The first being Andy Lipkis, who's the project executive of Accelerating Climate Resilience, and he's going to talk about hallowed ground, healing the essential bond between trees, people, and soil. And Andy is interested in soil because soil's health determines the health and survival of people, families, communities, countries, economies, and the earth itself. And soil's health is in our hands. Okay, so take it away, Andy.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. And also, I guess it's not yet good evening for people. It's great to be here with you. I'm speaking to you from Seattle, the traditional home of the Suquamish people. And it's just great to be here focusing on this topic that we love. And I've been so inspired by everyone's words. It's an honor to be with you. It's an honor to be sharing the stage with Irma Munoz, colleague, former tree person, always a tree person at heart, as we all are. As you know, I am the founder and former president of Tree People. I've retired, and I'm now heading a new organization, Accelerate Resilience, LA, which is sponsored by Rockefeller Philanthropy Advisors. Our mission is essentially our name, to accelerate climate resilience across Los Angeles. We're supporting research and various projects to facilitate that acceleration. And amongst those really important projects is this vital soil research project and the symposium. Later, I'll show you a few other examples of some of the work that we're doing. I just want to acknowledge the presence of so many leaders who've been in this field for decades, some of our political leaders who had hoped to make it, agency heads, the heads of especially the resilience and sustainability organizations. I'm humbled to be here with your literacy. I'm a translator, and I hope you don't mind my translations of soil importance to the other humans. Today, my job is to validate your work and to let you know that the fantastic and wonderful changes that we're dreaming about today, it's a new paradigm. You know, I think the flow of the conference reflects that, from just talking about soil inert and then the bringing in the people. But we need to move into a new paradigm, and we're doing that. The most important thing is that the changes that we're dreaming of, the new world we're dreaming of, is within reach. And that's really the bulk of my message. So let me share my screen as soon as it will show me how. Where did it go? No, my screen's not shared, and I don't see the button for.
Scroll your mouse towards the bottom of the screen and see if you get a pop-up that's green. It'll be down at the very bottom.
Yep, it came up. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We're in. And I think I'm in. Oh, and now I need to get into presentation mode, which it's not letting me do. Okay.
It looks, you are in presentation mode.
Great.
You're already there.
Thank you. So here we are, humans gathered together virtually, but really, I think in the morning, we've discovered that we're family, people who care and are passionate about trees and passionate about soil. We often look at what we see here, the tree, the beauty, the protection, and what's above ground, without understanding the, it didn't take my prompt, let's try it here, without understanding the actual engineering and the functionality of it. So that beautiful oak tree with a 100-foot canopy has so much going on underneath it that we don't think about, and it is the soil, and it's the soil, the dirt that has been building for years, decades, millennia. As the leaves have dropped and the tree has grown, the critters that live there have been digging, eating, breaking it down, connecting. And as we know, but sometimes we forget, soil is so alive. And thanks to great researchers who continue to find breakthroughs, we now know that our health is so related, and those little microscopic fungi, the mycelia, the network of mycelium is connected across forest for miles, transmitting information, helping trees communicate, helping them share nutrients, and all of it is ultimately sharing perhaps intuitive information with us, but definitely information, nutrients. We know from forest bathing and everything else that this is a key to our life and our survival. And hopefully we can actually spread it to cities in a way that begins to actually address historic racism and other real serious challenges that are totally related to this. But because we've forgotten all this, we don't know the value, the tremendous dollar value that trees are producing and the soil. And so we illustrated a little bit of what goes on with the tree, that it captures the rain and slowly releases it to the soil below. And it captures the rainwater that flows across the land and that flows into that space, that soil. It flows in contaminated, but over time and pretty quickly, those critters, the small ones, the microscopic ones and the big ones, work together and clean that water. And then they release it to the soil below. It's thanks to the researchers, the soil and forest researchers at UC Davis, Greg McPherson at the Urban Forest Research Lab, and I asked him to calculate the liquid storage volume of this space, 3 feet deep, 100 feet in diameter under oak tree. What was its liquid storage volume capacity during a flash flood? And he reported back that it was 120,000 gallons of water. So that's massive. But not only is that massive, but it has tremendous dollar value in terms of its potential. And it also, to illustrate what's happening, and what has happened is we've lost our literacy and our relationship with this. And so what happens when we lose the trees, when we take the tree out, is we lose the soil. We send a flood in a flash flood downstream, hurting people, but also we lose the soil and we lose all the services, flood protection, water supply, pollination, nutrients, health. We lose all of that. And what do we replace it with when we urbanize? Well, oh, sorry, I forgot about this important thing. We also have the trees consuming CO2, recharging the air, and now we know that 30% of that CO2, the soil can grab 3 times the amount of CO2 and capture it than the actual tree itself, which is part of why we're having this research. But also, the trees are oxygenating and cooling. So when we remove that, we take those things away, and we have to have those services. The challenge is we've created bureaucracies to do them. So we bring in water to cities instead of using the rainwater that falls to nourish us. At a cost in Los Angeles, we have to import 90% of our water, yet we receive half the water that we need in rainfall. We have too much water when it falls because it's not being absorbed and it runs off. So we have a flood control agency that can spend as much as $750 million a year in LA and LA County to get rid of the rainfall. And by the way, bringing in water was $500 million a year. It's probably closer to $750 million just for LA right now. We have a stormwater pollution agency or agencies that are costing more and more money to clean up the water that the soil could in part be cleaning. As a result of hemorrhaging all this cash, there's impacts on our economy. What community, what city can afford to hemorrhage over $1 billion a year and not have an effect on people? So we're trying to create jobs, but with fewer resources. What we call waste, the green waste, which is 50% of LA's solid waste stream, we haul away to the landfill at a cost of approximately $100 million a year. And we have huge air quality issues. This is life in the city. And the challenge is all these agencies are working separately. They have different infrastructure requirements. They're regulated by separate regulators. And what the tree did perfectly, beautifully with the soil integrated, we've lost how to do that. The good news is inspired by the soil, the mycelium, and how everyone below us is connecting and collaborating and cooperating. We can do that here. And that's the model of what we need to do. And so when we bring our agencies together and share values and translate our language so we can co-inspire each other and collaborate, where we overlap, we get new water supply, improved water quality, reduced demand for water, flood protection, air quality improvement, reduced waste stream, all the benefits of those nutrients, practicing watershed management. There's all sorts of ways that we can make this happen. But when we do that, right at the core is jobs, equity, hopefully the end of environmental racism. We have a lot of work to do, but that's what's within reach. That's what drives this vision. How do we get there? Is through multi-agency collaboration. And it's possible, it's hard. It's bringing all these agencies together to talk to each other and collaborate. And in concept, it's taking different infrastructure components and bringing them together as one that's multifunctional. It's doable. We've done it in LA as pilots. Here you see across Los Angeles from South LA, Watts, San Fernando Valley, where people have put in electronically networked cisterns that do flood protection, that do water supply, that do water quality. It's doable. Here, piloted in Northeast San Fernando Valley, where the soil was remediated and rainwater is brought in where it can capture, treat the water, add it to water supply and protect from floods. So going to our partners, of course, we're supporting this work with Tree People and its other incredible breakthrough work of trees and urban cooling, how to save lives in urban heat, led by Edith. Other examples, LA Compost, that has got thousands of volunteers who are taking green waste and food waste and transforming it to healthy soil. We have Community Healing Gardens, who's working at Markham Middle School in Watts and across South LA, feeding hundreds of families per week from the community gardens that they have and that they are spreading, and now they are building victory gardens by the hundreds across Watts during COVID. So the opportunity is to come together, shift from the old paradigm, and eat dirt is not, eat crop. It is get our health, changing the paradigm where we move as humans from consumers to regenerators. When we're consumers, we starve of the nutrients that the soil gives us, that we starve of the nutrients of community. When we move ourselves model ourselves on what soil does and become regenerators, holding hands, sharing all the important nutrients and good stuff. We blend the green infrastructure, the blue infrastructure, and the brown infrastructure. And I just would like to close with, because you are here and part of this, everybody in this conference today has an important role, and that is to participate in the needs assessment, which we're doing this whole year. We need your input. We need to work together, not only for this phase, but also through the next 2 phases. With all this information, we hope we can get incredible breakthroughs that can make the dreams that I am hearing that we all share, make those come to life, and come to life fast, so we heal our communities and our spirits and our land, and we keep going. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andy. You're right on time too. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.